What's up, Ragnar Runner? I am Sarah Albanawi, and I am a Ragnar Relay Ambassador. Consider me your top resource for your travel tips, packing, team building, or information about the venue, anything Ragnar. Find me at Sarah Albanawi on Instagram. Save 10% at registration by using my ambassador code SAAMB22.
Okay, Sarah, let's talk about Richmond Ragnar Trail.
That's Kevin.
What month was that? Also April?
It was, end of April.
All right, cool. So which team were you on there?
I was with Drinkers and Foodies with the running addiction. I was actually captain of one of their teams.
Okay, captain. So what are some of the responsibilities that come with being a captain?
Well, you put the team together, collect registration, if there's any organization, runner assignment.
Well, hold on. You're getting a little high speed now. When you say you put the team together, how did you find your teammates?
So I'm part of Drinkers and Foodies, and so Donna had like the first team, and she wanted to do a competitive team and a non-competitive team. So I was captain of the non-competitive team, and there were already people on the team. And then we kind of recruited more people to complete like an 8-people team.
What would be a competitive team versus a non-competitive team?
Competitive team, they're trying to go fast, run as fast as they can.
Lots of experience.
And lots of experience with trail running and being on point, basically with like being a transition, and they want a place. They want first, second, or third place.
Oh, that's awesome. And then a non-competitive team is more like, I'm just trying this for the first time, or...
Yeah, I'm trying to finish the race. I want to run it. We try to make it as fast as we can, but there's no rush.
So you're really captain. So recruiting a team was probably pretty easy because of the running club you were in.
Yep.
Okay. And then when it comes to like runner assignments, how do you handle that?
So we had a last minute dropout because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we and there was someone that volunteered to come on the team, but they had to leave by Saturday morning, so I had to put them runner 1 or 2. I had somebody ask for runner 1. So it depends. For me, last year I ran Richmond. I was runner 7, and I started running the yellow loop at sunrise. It was the most beautiful scene I've seen. I was hoping to plan it that way, but I was running with slower runners. So by the time I ran my yellow loop, the sun was already out this year. But it's okay. I still enjoyed it. It was still beautiful. It was still by the lake. So
that's fun. That's fun. What is your favorite position to run? There's 8 different positions.
I like to go either first or second.
Why?
Just kind of as a captain, it makes it easier to kind of focus on the team for the rest of the time and help people with organization if anybody needs help. I'm actually in real life, I'm a massage therapist. So
real life. Outside Ragnar.
Outside Ragnar. So to me, I think about, did you stretch? Let's stretch you. And I've been trying to encourage people to do PNF stretching, which is it takes 2 to do it, and it there's you push and pull, and
right.
That helps the hamstring kind of stretch really well before you go to your next run. So we did that. I did that with them, but runner 7 and kind of waiting. By the time I got to my turn to run, I was exhausted.
Right.
So that's why I prefer to be in the front end of the runner assignment.
I think I've captained close to 20 of the 30 that I've done, and I have a whole system for being a captain, and I've coached other captains on how to be a captain, how to set these standards. Just I've been able to, I guess, smooth out any potential headache, right? Just so you're not on the team unless you pay. Actually, I'll invite you to be on the team if I want to run with you because you're an experienced Ragnar. And what was really great, I'd say in the last 8 or maybe even the last 8 or 9 of the ones that I Ragnar'd, I said I only am Ragnaring with people with Ragnar experience. You talk about cutting down on challenges and drama. It was perfect. And so I've always loved being the captain. And then at the same time, I like being runner 1 because you can kind of go out and set the pace and get fired up.
Mm-hmm.
And by being early in the run, if you're somebody who has the endurance or the experience to do more than 3 legs, if somebody got hurt down the road, you'd be able to fill in the last cycle of laps.
That makes sense.
But then at the same time, it's also good to be the anchor. because I feel like all the glory is carried in with the anchor on the final loop.
Absolutely.
And no matter who you are, your last loop, the last runner is always faster because you have the energy of the entire team pushing you. So I like being in the front, and I like being in the back. So I definitely get that. Let's talk about the course, though. So green, yellow, red. What do you remember of it?
So I think green and red kind of, and they were the same for about a mile or 2 miles, and then you kind of go off the red, of course, going up hills. Honestly, the hills were fun. It was not bad. There was a lot of switchbacks, which I like because I feel like I'm just kind of like tiptoeing around the woods. And
well, hold on. Let's go ahead and pause. There's a piece of advice that I give every person on my team.
Okay.
There's one crucial Richmond piece of advice, and that is, so now yellow goes off the opposite direction. So the green and the red, as you start, you shoot down a hill. Out of the chute, you go right down a hill, and that's on gravel, and it banks to the right, and then it curves around to the left on a kind of like a bridge.
Yeah, but it's still gravel. Like you go after the bridge, you continue gravel for a while.
And right after the bridge, about 40 meters later, 50 meters later, you start to do a little bit of a climb. But it's enough of a climb that if you're not really aware, you can redline. And if it's hot enough out and time of day, you definitely don't want to redline your heart rate on the first climb of a 5-6 mile course, right? So I always tell everybody, just suck up your pride, jog to the hill, walk the hill. Once that first hill's out of the way, you can run any race you want to. But that hill is the great equalizer on green and red. That it's not even that dramatic.
Yeah.
But you got all this hyped up energy. You go out on your lap and your heart rate's up, and boom, you head out and you're running a 120. And next thing you know, you're at a 145 on the flat, and then your heart rate bumps up in the 160. 175, 180 range,
right?
Just for one dumb hill at the very beginning of the loop, and then you could be really, really smoked if you're not able to bring your heart rate back down. So, first piece of advice that Kevin Brackens will give you is, dude, just walk the first hill. It'll be okay.
It's just I agree with you, and I think that also like I found out that starting with a slower pace from the beginning and just kind of trying to maintain it, that kind of goes along the lines of what you're saying.
How was the weather during those?
It was good actually. It was in the 60s. It wasn't bad at all. I think it got a little bit like kind of muggy towards then, but it wasn't bad at all.
That's really, really good. We were there year one. We were plagued by 3 or 4 severe thunderstorms.
Oh, I remember. I heard that. Like the tents were kind of like sliding and stuff.
Yeah, and we were at the bottom of a hill, so all the water like flowed right to us, and it was okay. We survived it because we'd been through West Virginia the year before, which was like a tornado came through camp. It was pretty insane. But I think it was year 3. 'Cause I've done it 6 years, I believe, maybe 5 years. I don't even know. But year 2, we were ready for rain. Man, we were ready for every storm because the year before we're like, okay, we know what we're doing this time. We get there and it's record highs. It's like 92 degrees. It hasn't rained in a week. Yeah. And it wasn't even planning on raining, but the pollen that was coming off of the trees fell like rain. It would collect on your clothes. You'd see it on your eyelashes, and everybody had pollen-induced coughing fits the entire race. You're like, how could I prepare for that?
No, you can't prepare for it. There was a lot of pollen. Yeah, I remember that. And then a lot of people were like, coughing using like, allergy medicine and stuff because of the pollen.
Oh, allergy medicine would be my advice for this, but that's later on in the podcast. So what runner were you for this one?
I was runner 7.
You were runner 7. Okay, so that would be green, red, yellow?
Yes.
Green, red, yellow. Nice. So green, nice and easy, runs by the waterfall. And then you're just kind of coasting around on some really easy groomed trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit rooty. There's a little bit of an annoying climb. I really like the finish of Richmond.
Yeah.
Of the green and the red, because you kind of run parallel a little bit, and then you actually link right up together. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're running with more people.
Yes, exactly. But the funny thing was when I was running and it was beginning of the rail, as soon as I started like into the green on it, like separate from the red, I tripped on like a big root that I definitely didn't see, and it started flying. I saw my head hitting that big tree like in my face, and I'm like, okay, I gotta think quick. There was like a tree, a smaller tree, which I could put my hand around it, and I held on to that with both hands, and it kind of like pivoted around that tree, and it didn't fall, and it started like sliding on my feet, like my feet finally hit the ground, and it was sliding down, and I'm like, and there was nobody there to see this. I avoided a traumatic event. I am so proud of myself.
That's so exciting. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's one of those falls when you like are just stumbling forward.
Yeah. That's just like I survived.
That's the thing about Richmond is that the course isn't technical enough for you to pay attention to.
Exactly.
So then the dumbest things reach out and just trip you. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So then lap 2 was
the red at night.
How did that go?
So I don't know. Like night for me freaks me out because I don't like the dark. Since I was a kid, I don't know. I'm like 41. I still don't like the dark. So when I started, I was like thinking about, okay, I'm gonna take it easy, and then that big hill started coming up, and I was just like trying to go like run, but like kind of take it easy, not go fast, not burn myself as from the beginning. And I saw this like. I don't know if it was a person. At that moment, I'm like, it doesn't look like a person, but there was light, and there was reflective stuff on it, and I'm like, is that like a human or not? So I was like, slowly approached that person, or whatever that was entity. I'm like, please God be a human, please God be a human. And then I'm like, hello, are you okay? And it was a person with like very dim lights. She did not have a lot of lights. She was really, really upset. And I was like, oh, are you okay? And then she looked at me like, she was not even blinking, and she reached out and she was trying to like high five me or something, and she was wearing gloves, and I was like, it freaked me out. Like for 1 second, I'm like, please just be a human. So I touched her, and it was a human, and she was like, they did not wake me up to eat my food before my night run, and she was so mad. I didn't even get to tinkle. And I'm like,
oh no.
I felt so bad. So like I was trying to like kind of cheer her up. I'm like, hey, you're here, you made it, good for you. Like, it's the woods, if you need to tinkle, just go ahead and take care of business. She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm like, so I started to like kind of like talk to her, and she's like, go, don't wait for me, like don't waste your time on me. I'm like, no, there's a reason why I passed you. And we started talking a little bit. So she's like, you encouraged me, why don't you go ahead and start running, and I'll run behind you. And then she started running, and then she tripped and fell. And she's like, I told you I can't run. Just go. I'm like, okay, I hope you have a better run. Enjoy it. And it was a long one, so it's like about 6.5, I think, or something. And I was just like, I kind of took off. But, yeah, I guess, like, I just bring it to myself. I attract these things because I'm scared at night. And I'm assuming everything is a ghost. And but I still go. Like, I have my light, I have my music, and I try to, like, just focus on that.
We're talking about Pocahontas State Park in Richmond. There's no Bigfoots out there. There's no Yetis. There's no ghosts, I don't think. But that's really funny. And when you come across runners having their own journey, sometimes there's crying, sometimes there's bleeding, sometimes there's skinned up whatever. And you're like, you good? We doing this? Come on, let's go. So it's really good to check on people, and to, it's part of the Ragnar safety briefing is when you see somebody hurt, you got to get the word back to somebody, or you got to use your cell phone, stuff like that. So it's really good to check on people. Mm-hmm. I was on Red, I guess it was last year, and this guy, I had headphones in, and I wasn't being passed. And because there's so many switchbacks on Red, you can't tell when a runner's coming up to you because you're just busy, because there's lights everywhere, because there's not much brush, so you just see headlamps going in different directions the whole time, and you stay on your trail. This guy smashes into me.
Oh. Okay,
and I would consider myself a Clydesdale runner. Mm-hmm. I'm not small. I'm not the traditional runner build, which would be a little skinny guy, you know. This guy crashes into me and then cusses me for having my headphones in because he said he gave me warning. Oh. And I said, I didn't hear you, and I apologized to him. Then he ran his mouth at me. Oh. And in runner combat, quote-unquote combat, if you will, I was like, I had choice words for him, and my last mile and a half of the red loop was so fast trying to catch him. He ran. I I was like, this son of a bitch. I was hoping he was waiting for me at the finish line so we could finish our conversation, but he was not. He was not as polite as you. But he literally crashed into me, and he didn't knock me down because I'm 210 pounds lumbering up and down ravines. Anyways.
That was not very Ragnarian of him.
No, no. Let's talk some trash about Richmond for a second. I'm going to do it. Richmond has a lot of great runners in the city itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a fast community. You definitely are struggling to put together a team that will genuinely win at the Richmond Ragnar because there's so many running clubs, so many running stores. It's really, really fast. I just encourage them to recognize your size.
Yeah.
You're a really good runner, which means you're not my size, and don't be hollering curse words back at me just because you're getting away.
Yeah.
But I never found them. Not that I would have done anything. I'm freaking 50 years old. So, but the point is, though,
you didn't get closure.
No, I had no closure, and my ego was really dented. But I ran a really fast last lap.
So, if you saw him, what would you have said to him?
I think I would have just gotten really macho in his face and saying, "You got anything else to say, there, Chief?" Because the 60 pounds of weight that I have on him. Yeah. But who knows? I'm not saying I'm all that. I was pissed off, fired up, on red loop. And somebody literally crashed into me. I had words for him. But so no, I didn't even play it out that far in my head. I had so much adrenaline. But I can thank him for probably a PR on that course.
Oh, that's awesome.
Chasing him. Yeah.
That's good.
So in your preparation for going to a race like Richmond, you'd already done it once before, so you'd already learned some lessons in your first year. What were some things that you had that really worked out well that you were prepared for?
So, as I told you, it was my first time captaining, so I had to think about, okay, canopy. I want to make sure that all my team members have tents. People are flying in, so I wanted to make sure that they have tents. Some people didn't have a sleeping bag, so I had to kind of find that. Because Donna Wu, so she's like the one who created Drinkers and Foodies, she has a lot of gear, and she's like, well, let me know what you need. So I had to grab a few things from her, and then one other runner that was with us. She worked in a place that she has access to gear that she was able to bring, so she brought us like a couple of tents and a couple of mats. That kind of helped out, and then just kind of double check. I had to do like the runner's assignment, and then we had to like kind of change that because we lost a runner. But one thing that actually happened, and it kind of made it very frustrating for me as a captain, first-time captain, and like not a lot of experience too, was like my first two runners, my first runner and my last runner, they decided to stay at a hotel nearby. They didn't want to stay in a campsite. And that, I was so scared. I was like, listen, you want to do that, that's on you. But if you're not, but at the transition at 7:15, which our launch time is 7:30, I'm going to put somebody else on. So she was there, and, and it was challenging for me to kind of like not have two runners we're together, because like we eat together, we do stuff together, we help out around the camp and stuff.
Part of the bonding, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like that experience was missed and lacking. But I feel like, one of my really good friends on Drinkers of Food is James. He's like, let her experience Ragnar the way she wants to, as long as she's there, reliable, that's fine. So like that kind of like those words kind of helped me calm down, because like you're not in control of anything. Like you gotta just kind of roll with the punches, and you gotta like deal with what you have. She did not miss a transition.
Sarah, you are wonderful. You're just a wonderful, kind captain. You're so nice.
I know you probably don't agree with me.
Well, I totally agree, and I'm happy that everything worked out on the team, but a lot could have gone wrong.
Oh, absolutely. I was like freaking out. I did not sleep a wink like the whole time.
Right, because these two people decided to act like they wanted to stay in a hotel, and although it's not that big a deal, each running club approaches Ragnar differently, and I'm not sure how Drinkers and Foodies for the Running Addiction or running
that
problem?
won't fly by. And like Donna and Andy's team, it's like, we it's like a very tight, like we stay together, we go together, we die together. It's like
right. So when you're filling other teams, there's the two versions. One is you have you and your whole running crew who know each other, understand what the expectations are. But then when you start bringing in the mercenaries,
absolutely,
they're just not that cool. They're just there to get their medal and to get that race done and whatnot. And people that come in, like the people that are the wild cards, the ones that are flying in or driving in, they might not show up at all. They're typically the ones that just don't even post, and you're short a runner, which is the worst. When I'm a captain, I make sure it's well known that you have to be there for the start, you have to be there the night before, and you have to stay until the finish. And I get a verbal agreement that they understand that is the situation. I'm also kind of hard that once you've paid, there is no getting your money back, whether you can do it or not. Oh. Additionally, again, opposite of how nice you are, I don't give the refund, but let's say you're on my team and you've paid and you can't go because of whatever issue it is, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, I find the teammate that I want to race with.
Yeah, I don't ask you to do that.
I don't ask you to do it because I don't know what goon you're going to bring on my team.
Exactly. No, I totally get it. And I have, a lot of room for improvement. It was my first experience.
I wasn't criticizing. I was just saying, no, but people can be nice and everything can work out just nice. I like to keep a very tight template.
I totally agree.
For success.
I was trying to go that way, but I didn't want to be, and we were like an all women's team, so it just also the dynamic is different when men are in the mix. So it was just kind of like trying to be as, cordial, as polite, and also so the second runner who was on hold to be the first runner, she kind of got frustrated, so I had to calm her down. And I'm like,
totally.
Hey, this is your race to enjoy it. Thank you so much for jumping in. She actually finished Ragnar with us, Richmond Ragnar. She was second runner. She left and she did a 5K that day and then a half marathon Sunday. So I was so happy to have her. She's badass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was an experience.
So the successes you had was your preparation to be captain, to help make sure you had all the right equipment for the people who were traveling in. And,
absolutely.
And it didn't have the right tents or sleeping bag. That's great. And then the challenges would be the lack of
commitment from other
set
people.
expectations as to how we're all going to be on a quote unquote team.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Those are great things. Yeah. So the last part is 2 pieces of advice for anybody specifically going to Ragnar Richmond Trail. Be
there early.
Why is that?
Because I feel like the good spots go really quickly. We were not there on time to get our regular spot, which is by the trees, by the pool. We were out there in the sun a little bit because I think that kind of makes a difference.
Well, we need to break it down. Break it down for Brackens here. So there's a designated spot for large running clubs like drinkers and foodies with a running addiction, and our team RWB, and sometimes Bros and Bras gets let in over on the bigger group side, but that's usually with a bunch of ambassadors that brought a bunch of teams. If you're over, that's a VIP. I'm gonna call it VIP.
Well, we were there.
That's right. Then there's Gen Pop, which is this giant field that's next to a pond.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. You better get there early. And this is another one of those races where it really benefits to have a cart, right?
You always have to have a cart. For trail, you always have to have a cart. I actually, just because I'm captain, Donna's you got to get your own cart. You got to get it. I'm like, Donna, I'm captaining for you, buddy. And yes, and I actually ended up getting my own canopy, and I ordered my cart, but it didn't come in time for Richmond. So I went and I was I asked, and which just, I didn't know if I can or not, but I asked one of the people from Ragnar, and I'm like, can I borrow, please? I have so many things. And they gave me the buggy, and I just got my stuff. And
that's so awesome. Good for you.
Because staff are very helpful. If you ask, they're going to help you if they can. So it was just one last trip, I put everything in, and I'm like, oh my God, I was captain. And also, one of the things is my team, kind of all of them, they had to disperse really quickly. So I'm I ended up with one of the RWB people helping me kind of lug my stuff back. So I'm I think I need to be a little bit more firm when I'm captain next time. to do that. Make sure that we're here until the end. Everybody has to help. Everybody has to, carry. So
totally right. Yeah, and that's it's so tough with mercenaries. It's just so tough because mercenaries just, God bless them, they filled your team, but they're on the move. You have flights to catch, all that stuff. So I've been on both sides of that. So the first piece of advice would be to get there early. Assume the gate opens at 2 or 3. You'd want to be in line an hour to an hour and a half early, which means you're trying to beat pros and bras there, because we're traditionally in the first 3 all the time, just to get into the park even. And then the best camp spots, I think, are right next to the stairs.
The pool.
No, over in Gen Pop, over by the pond.
Okay. By the pool.
I don't know. I've never camped on the pool side. All right, cool. Second piece of advice. What would you say?
I don't know. I think Richmond was one of the beautiful ones that you should enjoy. Just like, like as a runner, it's not a tough course. So just enjoy it. I feel like, because I was bracing myself for Zion coming up. So
I would say that I have 2 pieces of advice for Richmond in particular. One is the red loop there, I think, is 6 miles, on the dot. They say it's 6.2 or 5.7. It always ranges, right? 6 miles at night on trail that you're not familiar with can be quite a long time. My advice is take your perfectly charged, perfectly performing headlamp. And then take a backup. Because you could be out there a really long time, and the red loop on Richmond is a very dark loop. I'd
say for any night run that it should be the case, but yeah, especially for the red and the 6 miles. So.
And then the second piece of advice I have for Richmond is allergy medicine. Even if you don't have allergies, spring in Richmond in the Mid-Atlantic like that will bust you up with pollen, and you won't even know you're having an allergy attack, and you're having it.
You just made me think of one more thing.
Oh, sure. What's
Check
that?
for ticks when you get home. Oh, God. Yeah, it was. A couple of people got them. So it's just, I think in general, if you're camping out in the woods, you need to watch out.
Still, it's a very good reminder. Yeah. Let's talk about how hard Richmond Ragnar is on the scale. 1 being the easiest Ragnar you've done, or 5 being the hardest Ragnar?
I want to say 2.5, maybe. That would be kind of, there were hills. It was not easy, but it was fun. I loved the switchbacks with both red and some of the green, minus the trip and almost hit my head on the tree, but.
That's right, yeah. I would put it personally at a 1.5.
Oh, okay.
I find it to be
on the easier side.
On the easier side, and just not quite as climactic as other.
Oh, absolutely.
It checked the box for getting a local metropolitan Ragnar done.
Yeah.
And Richmond's a great town to have it. It's got close to DC. It's a fast racing field. Yeah. And but the allergies, of course, rain. And because the night leg could be very, very long, definitely a backup headlamp.
Backup, no. Yep, absolutely.
And if you're out there listening to this and you're looking to crash into me again, come and find me, buddy. I'm watching for you. Is there anything else we need to talk about for Richmond?
No, just go do it. It's awesome.
That's great. All right, on to the next one.
All right.
This podcast is brought to you by City National Bank in Ransom, West Virginia. I am Melissa Knott and manage both of our Jefferson County locations. Our Charlestown location is located on George Street in Charlestown, and the Ransom location is located in the Potomac Marketplace Shopping Center. City National Bank is a full-service community bank that provides an array of financial services. We offer a range of free checking accounts and savings products for both consumer and business customers. City National Bank offers competitive low-rate and low-cost lending products for both business and personal needs. Come and talk to me or one of my team members and get products and services that are tailored to fit your schedule and help you to achieve your financial goals. I can be reached at both the Ransom and Charlestown locations. Check out our website at www.bankatscity.com.